Okay, we're recording on the brand new camera. It's so nice and fancy. Now, before we dive into this video, I know what you're all thinking. Yes, this is my Christmas tree. Yes, it's after December 25th, but look how pretty it is. I had to do at least one video with the tree as my background. If you're new here, hi, my name is Ali-Ann. I'm an actor, dancer, and choreographer here in Ottawa, with a day job working for the government. And today we're going to talk about the not so great part about being an actor and going to auditions. There's this old saying that you will audition 100 times before getting a part. So statistically, you're bound to get more no's than yeses if you decide to pursue acting as a career. Everyone deals with rejection differently, but having been an actor who has been rejected more than once, and also a choreographer who's been involved in the decision making behind casting a show, I thought I'd share my tips and tidbits on how to deal with that rejection and how to keep yourself from quitting. Even if we expect the rejection, it still really sucks that somebody else gets to decide whether or not you partake in something you love, and that as artists you get to create and be part of a theatrical experience. It's something that's super unique to the performing arts, because if you're an artist, you can pick up a paintbrush whenever you feel the urge to paint. If you're a songwriter, you can write a song whenever you want. You've got pen, you've got paper, maybe you've got your instrument, you're good to go. Actors have to not only wait for a theater company to produce a show that they want to be part of, they also have to audition for a panel of like 5 to 10 people who are going to decide whether or not you meet the criteria of their artistic vision, whether you're talented enough, whether you're the right fit, the right person to bring their vision to life. As an actor, when you're told, no, you can't be part of this, it's particularly hard, especially if you consider yourself an artist and you feel called to be in a show or called to play a certain part. So hopefully with this new mindset, as someone who's been to many auditions and received many no's, but also as someone who's had to say no to people, hopefully this makes the audition rejection you statistically will experience a little less daunting. So let's start. Let's go.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
First things first, if you go in and you feel like you've had an amazing audition, you probably had an amazing audition. Getting a callback, getting the part, getting cast in the show, yes, those are indications that you did a good job. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of people audition for the same parts, and there are only so many parts to give. So if you feel like you performed at your best and you went in and you did a really good reading that demonstrated your skills as an actor, if you nailed that dance combo, that's a huge win. You've got to celebrate that for what it is. Every audition is an opportunity to further explore your craft. So it's an opportunity to explore a new song choice, to learn new dance choreography, to challenge yourself with trying out for a part you wouldn't normally be considered for. So if you go to that audition and deliver an incredible performance, a performance that is your best, that's already a huge accomplishment. Go celebrate.
3 words for you: treat yourself.
I love treating myself after an audition. I will go and get myself a fancy coffee at Starbucks, or maybe pick up my favorite snack or Uber Eats, but it doesn't have to be something that you buy. I also will reward myself with binge watching my favorite junky TV show or giving myself an at-home mani-pedi. So find something that really is going to reward yourself after an audition so that you keep wanting to go even when you don't get the part. The other thing to consider is you are not the only person who got a no. Chances are there are hundreds of people who auditioned for the same show that you did, and not everybody can be cast. It's impossible to cast like 200 people in one show. And some shows are very small and intimate, and you can have, hundreds of girls in line who are younger and thinner than you auditioning for Kathy,
who have already been to the gym.
With only 2 parts in the last 5 years and like 200 people auditioning, chances are most people are going to be told no. It doesn't hurt to commiserate with another actor. Who better to understand the plights of rejection than another person who got rejected at the audition, right? But also just remember that out of those hundreds of people, a lot of those people are going to be just as talented and as wonderful of performers as you are. Being told no as an actor doesn't mean you suck. It just means that they went into a different direction, which brings me into my next part. Being told no does not mean you're not talented. It doesn't mean you're not a phenomenal actor, a great singer, that you didn't nail that dance audition. It just means that you weren't what they were looking for. If you work in a city like Ottawa, chances are another theater company is going to do that show in another 2 to 5 years anyway. You'll have another shot at being Pippin, or does anybody do Pippin anymore? I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite musical.
Pippin!
But like 3 different theater companies did Shrek in a matter of 5 years. So if Fiona was your jam, you had your shot. As a choreographer, I can confirm that there are like 4,556 different factors that go into casting. Casting an individual, it goes beyond just, wow, this person has an amazing voice and they can dance. It's whether or not they fit the character, whether or not they're a good fit with other people that we've already cast in the show. For example, I auditioned for the part of an ingenue, and the only person that they found to fit the role of the male lead was 17, and I was 28. That would have been gross.
That's gross!
It doesn't matter how amazing my audition was. Based off of who they had for the male lead, I was no longer a contender. I've been told I didn't get a lead part because my dancing was really strong and that they needed me more in the ensemble, even though they liked me for a lead part. I've even been told by a Disney casting agent that I looked too much like the Little Mermaid to play the Little Mermaid on their cruise ship because I'd be too recognizable as their face character just walking around the ship. I literally was too much like their fictional cartoon character to play their cartoon character. And while oftentimes there isn't really a way for you to know why you weren't chosen for a particular show or a particular part, a lot of theater companies
in Ottawa
actually will give feedback. Especially if you're doing community theater, I highly recommend that you get in contact with the theater company and see if the directors are willing to share some advice. If you know you killed it in your audition and you're just not sure what went wrong, that could be the answer as to what to focus on for your next audition. Another important thing to keep in mind when it comes to auditions is you might not be auditioning for the show that you're auditioning for. Let me explain. You might not be right for a specific director's vision of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, but maybe next season they're doing Rock of Ages and you would be perfect for Rock of Ages. They're going to remember you. There was one theater company that I had auditioned for like 3 or 4 times. I was really gung-ho about working with them, and every single time they told me I had a great audition and that they had me in mind for a different show, and they told me to come and try out for their production of Cry Baby, where I was cast as Wanda Woodward. So you never know who you're going to impress when you go into a room, and just because it's a no for one show doesn't mean it won't be a no for the next. My last piece of advice for you, and probably my most important piece of advice for you, because a lot of non-actors and non-artists are going to tell you otherwise. It's okay to be sad and mourn the fact that you weren't in the show. I have been so sad about not getting into a show or not getting a specific part, and that is totally normal and a-okay if you feel the same way. There have been times when I have gotten myself so far into my character work that I feel like I've become a one with this person, that we've become friends, that I've become emotionally invested and attached in what this character goes through and their journey and their character arc. And like I mentioned before, it's really difficult when you feel called to play a certain part or called to be in a show and a panel of directors, for whatever reason, decide that you don't get to do that. It's valid to feel sad. There have been times when I've auditioned for a show, haven't gotten the part, and it's felt like a breakup. I try to give myself 24 hours to be as sad and wallowy and pathetic as possible, and then I move on. It usually involves 1 to 3 phone calls to my mom, usually in tears, and a bit of venting, and then I'm fine, and then I'm good and I'm ready to tackle the next challenge. I always think back to what Bryan Cranston once said in an interview. If I can find it, I'm gonna put it here. Hi, this is editing Alianne here. So I spent about 45 minutes trying to locate this Bryan Cranston quote, and I'll be honest, I can't find it. So moving forward, we're going to say that Bryan allegedly said this, which is totally feasible based off of the number of Bryan Cranston quotes I read on the subject of acting. He wrote a book, and I'm going to recommend it down below. I think this man one day is going to make an excellent acting professor, and he has a lot of insight on the audition process, so you should definitely check out his work. And I promise the intention was good with this one. I don't know if this is a case of the Mandela effect or if I just dreamed something up, but if I do find who said this quote, and I know somebody said it, I'll let you know down in the comments. Bryan Cranston has said that if you are cast in a show, it was always your part to begin with. It was yours before you even auditioned for it. And that if you didn't get cast, then it never was yours and it never was meant to be. I agree with this, but I want to add on to it. And what I'm adding to that is when one opportunity closes, let it be motivation and confirmation that the part that you are supposed to play is coming, that the opportunity that you're meant to have is going to happen because that one didn't work out. And as a little extra bonus sprinkle tip, I also highly recommend that if you have the means or the opportunity to see the show that you didn't get cast in, you should. Not only is this a chance for you to be part of the art created and to be involved in the production by being a witness and an audience member, not only are you supporting the craft of other fellow actors and artists and creators, not only are you giving back to the theater community that you are striving to be part of, you also get to see what they create and perhaps learn from it. Every time I've seen a show that I haven't been cast in, I've learned something. I've discovered something about myself, about my interpretation of the character, but also what differentiates how I performed it and how I presented the character from who the character became on stage. And when I have gone, it's always been noticed by someone from the directing team. Whether it's an actor friend who's told them or whether or not I see them in the lobby, they recognize that you go out and you support the theater community, and that makes them want to include you in the theater community. So don't stop seeing shows. Don't boycott a show just because you were cast in it. I promise it's worth going to see if you can. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you feel better equipped to deal with the rejection that comes from being an actor. If you have any tips or tricks, I would love to read them in the comments, and tell me a little bit about your next audition. Let's share a little bit of support and cheer ourselves on down in the comments section. I would love to know what you guys are auditioning for. And if you liked this video, please subscribe to this channel. Check out some of my other videos, like my aerial hoop journey progress video, or you could check out my hairspray choreography playlist, or you can check out the Memphis dance tutorial. Yes, the auditions have gone by, but let me tell you, this dance routine, it's boppin'.